So good morning, everybody. Welcome to another CTM meetup session. Today we'll have Professor Henrique Salgado joining us and as a speaker, and I will now pass the word to Luís Pessoa, who will present the speaker and proceed with the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Rui. I'm Luís Pessoa. I'm coordinator of the optical and electronic technologies area. And this time, we are running these sessions once per month. This month, it's up to our area to make a presentation. I invited Professor Henrique Salgado to make a presentation that could be useful to the whole universe of researchers that we have here. So it's a presentation on knowledge management. I don't know the details. I'm here to learn something more, but I think this will be useful to all of us. So Henrique, so the floor is yours. Please, you can share the screen and move on.
Okay, so let me see. Let's see if it works like this.
Yes.
Yeah, can I see it?
It's good, yes.
Is it okay?
Yes, yes.
So, welcome all to this talk. Really is a pleasure to be here, and thank Luis for the invitation. This is really a topic that I'm very pleased to present. I think it's, I've been studying this topic for quite some time and trying to introduce some of these techniques in my workday tasks. Sometimes it's not that easy because we usually are so busy doing other things that sometimes the organization we leave it to the end. But really the talk is really is a method how to take smart notes and how to write creatively. And so I think it is of interest to a wide audience, as I hope it will be. And I mean, the talk, I hope it can be interactive, so you can stop me if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer them. And in this way, I hope we can make this talk a bit more interactive. So I will start by asking considering what are the reasons for you to attend this talk. That there might be many. Perhaps you were curious about the title and wanted to know a bit more. You might have came across with the method before, and you know what it is and want to learn a bit more about it. And perhaps you are overwhelmed by the amount of information you have to deal with daily, and hoping that there is a method that can help you with that. Perhaps you need to write a thesis or report, or you want to excel at your research. So really there are several reasons for you to attend this talk, and I hope I can answer some of these questions. Or perhaps you think this is nonsense, and any technique or any addressing the productivity using some techniques just moves our attention from things that matter, which is doing the work and you can easily end up in a rabbit hole trying to find some apps or some other techniques that will help you in increasing your productivity, and at the end you just spend your time and not doing the right thing. So, I'm not sure if this is your case, but really there's this danger as well, that you start looking for this topic, and then you stop doing the things you need to do. But then I will start by asking and trying to break the ice between the speaker and the audience, and I will ask you, what are your expectations with respect to this talk? I'm not sure if you heard the Zettelkasten method before, but perhaps you want to say something about this. Anyone wants to say something?
I don't know what it is.
Okay, that's fair. Fair enough.
Yes. Same here. So I'm eager to know what it is, what's the potential.
Okay. So first I would like to stress the aim of this talk, which is really to stress the importance of note-taking in the learning and the creative processes. And that's one important aim of the talk, and present the Zettelkasten method as a smart note-taking approach that fosters the generation of new ideas. And I think these are the two main aims of the talk. And I hope that at the end you might be willing to try some of these techniques in your daily workflow, and perhaps improve your creativity and productivity. And then at the end, I'll present some digital implementations of the method that are available today. Okay, I'm not sure if we'll have much time to do this, but I will try to give you some practical implementations that are available today. Okay. And then what's the motivation? I think it's more or less obvious. I address some of these concerns already. My own motivation really is like productivity, I would say, is the holy grail in the digital era. There are a lot of things going on the web related to the increase of productivity. There are companies that dedicated to developing products or helping people in increasing their productivity, which makes sense. I will explain this a bit later. There are the ability to continuously learning new things. I've chosen a job really is not just teaching, but doing research. And this is a job for a lifetime where you are continuously learning new things, and you have to have this ability for all your life, or almost all your life. And so if you can address the way how to learn faster, it's really is important. And also, yeah, so and also in terms of understanding how we learn, and the cognitive process of learning is important. It can help you how to learn and how to implement some of the techniques. And so I just basically, and one of my motivation here in this talk is really to share my experience with you. Okay, and so, and the reason why there is so much going on the internet about productivity is that we are immersed in an ocean of information. Really is mainly digital these days. We have an easy access to global information and a lot of information at our fingertips. But how can we deal with it effectively? That's the question. And I think that's the reason why these days that there's a lot going on the this is becoming an important topic. The amount of information that floods our brains every day is really overwhelming, and especially if you are working in a research area, but not only that really. But the information, this is a statement from Tiago Forte from Forte Labs. This is a person that dedicates his work at, as I said, as a company dedicated to increase of productivity. And he says that information is the fundamental building block of everything we do. And I really agree with that. And so we have to have means to address this. What I hope to show you today is that with the adequate approach to note-taking, and by just saying by note-taking, it seems very, very simple approach to this problem. But really sometimes solutions to big problems starts to simple things. And I really believe we can help our brain doing its work at its maximum by providing adequate note-taking, by providing food for thought. And so which can help our capacity to deal with a lot of information. Another thing is, especially students, academics, and researchers, we need, but not only that, but in many areas, we need to do reports, we need to write thesis papers, and we need to do this creatively, and this requires some intelligent organization of ideas. And and I think this is also important to our students as well. I believe that creativity is not just the generation of new ideas. Sometimes when we hear this word, we think about creativity is when you create new things. But the ideas may not be new to others, but they might be new to you. And so I think you are always in a creative process. And this creative process is part of the process of learning. Really, when learning, you have insights. And this happens when your brain becomes wired. And this wired means that new synapses are established between neurons. And that's how our brain works. I remember in high school when we were studying kinematics, and I was having some difficulties and understanding how to solve these problems. But suddenly, I think like a switch turned on, and I suddenly start to understand how this works. And I think these are the insights that we have, and I think probably that's one of the reasons why I decided to do research, because it's fantastic when you are able to learn new things and understand how things work. Also, reinforced learning is a technique that is very well known to help to wire the brain or to facilitate the learning process. As I said, learning is establishing of new synapses in our brain, and reinforcing those synapses can help by using the technique of reinforced learning. And so in the process, you should question what you learn, not just read. So read is really a small part of the learning process. You should write what you learn in your own words, and that's especially important. You should also explain to others what you learn. And in the process, you help reinforcing those synapses over time that start to give you a very good picture of understanding what you're learning. Also, our perception of things depend on our previous experience. And I'm not going to be very philosophical about this, but we could discuss this for much longer. But for example, I'm here in this talk, I'm saying these words, everybody is listening the same words, but really what everybody understands depends on their previous background, right? And have a different understanding, or perhaps some of you may say that the talk is very clear, others may say it's not so clear. So really, your previous experience established the perception of your present experience. And when you start to see the big picture, you understand better the relations among the parts, and everything starts to make sense to you. And this is really a part of establishing a wired brain. And especially if you think that there are more neurons in the brain than stars in our galaxy, then you start to think that really our brain is amazing, has an amazing capacity. I went to look for, I saw this statement in the internet. I went to look for it, and then I realized that it's not really quite so. So really, there aren't more brains more neurons in the brain than in our galaxy, but it's quite close to that. So the estimation is 100 billion neurons, but in our galaxy, Milky Way, there are 240 billion stars. But anyway, it's a huge amount of neurons, and the capacity of the brain is amazing. I went to look for a bit more data, and the estimation is that we also have around 100 trillion synapses, and by smart note-taking, and that's what I will try to show you, you can unlock the full potential of your brain. I also will be there to say that learning how to learn is it's an important part of the process of learning, and I'm afraid that today this is not taught at our universities. This is like sending our students to climb the mountain without the right gear, and then they really don't know how to do it. And I think these topics should be taught in any way, or be part of any university curricula, where which might help our students to improve their study. And this is really this reference here is really a good book by Novak, and really there is additionally there's a course, online course available, which is based on this book taught by Novak, which I recommend to all the students as well. But now let's focus on the method. I really talked a lot about other things, just as a motivation for this talk. But what does Zettelkasten mean? It really, for us, it can be a strange word. We don't know what it means because it comes from the German. Zettel means note, Kasten means box, and so the translation will be a note in a box, or sometimes called a slip of paper in a box, which is shortened to slip box method in English. So that's what it means. The Zettelkasten method itself, it's been said to be a powerful tool for organization of information. And I think one of the definitions, because there are a lot of definitions you can find, but I found this one, which I think is very good or excellent definition of what the slipbox method is. It's a personal tool for thinking and writing. It has hypertextual features to make a web of thought possible. And really, this is the key point of the method itself. When I will explain to you better the method, you'll probably end up realizing that doesn't seem to be it seems to be a very simple method and easy to implement these days. But the difference to other methods, other systems, is that you create a web of thoughts instead of nodes or arbitrary size and form, and emphasize connection, and that's not a collection of nodes. And I think that's the and this is used and perfected by German sociologist and system theorist Niklas Luhmman. Niklas Luhmman, he lived from 1927 to 1998, so he has already died. He was an academic, a prolific writer and note taker. He wrote 60 books and around 500 papers, and a number of recent articles has also been published after his death. He realized early in his work that a node is only valuable if connected to other nodes and its network of association and relationships. And he devised this method that he used in his own work very effectively. I'm sure the fact that he was able to implement this method and applied it to his daily work, and also means that he had a large capacity of work as well. But in his own words, he said that I'm not thinking everything on my own. My productivity is largely explained by the Zettelkasten method. That is impossible to think without writing. And so he believes that, or he believed that the method helped him a lot in being a prolific writer, and to the amount of articles and books that he produced was also as a reason of the method that he implemented. He also called the method a conversation partner and a second memory, because he said that it helped him in establishing a dialogue between his nodes and himself. Well, the slipbox method, or the Zettelkasten method, implemented the method based on notes or slips of paper. That's why it's called Zettel's note in a box. And this is a copy of his drawer of notes in the Bielefeld University, where he taught. And so after saying this, you might be asking, well, just a stack of boxes full of paper notes? Seriously, that's the method? Well, there's more to it than than it seems, apparently. And so there are several approaches to note-taking systems. So I think we are all familiar with some of these. We can use underlined text. When you read a paper, for example, you simply underline some passages that you think are important. You can take notes on margin of papers or books. You can use your smartphone to take notes, or your computer. In your computer, you can organize your notes in files in different folders, for example. You can use post-it notes or sequential notes on a notebook, for example. So really there are several methods. But all of these, in a way, they failed in some respects to be effective. The most known categorization system is the Dewey's Decimal System, which is a proprietary library classification system that we all know, I think. At least if you went to the library and you look for a book, for example, you've seen this categorization system, okay, where books are located on a specific area based on subject. Okay, that's the most simple classification system. I will now discuss some of these methods and their disadvantages. For example, you have a notebook and you simply scribble some notes on your notebook. This is a too rigid method. If, for example, you have a collection of index cards like Luhmman did, but just a simple collection of cards, this is not scalable, because as the number of cards increase, then you start to lose the information because you don't know where the information is, and it's difficult to scale. For example, if you file the cards, then you establish some silos, and it's difficult to draw connections between different folders. And one of the problems I have with this, by filing information in different folders, is I always wonder if I should create a new folder or where I'm going to put this note on a specific folder, how I'm going to do this, and just the process of trying to figure out which folder going to put the information or create a new one, I think is an obstacle to be effective just by itself. Tagging the cards or notes is a better approach, and Luhmman also used them. It's still limiting, but at its scale, so it becomes very messy, because then, and some of digital implementations of this method is, for example, I'm not sure if you know Evernote, which is a service, internet service, where you can add notes that are on a web server that you can access, and you just tag those notes. But as it scales, as you start having a lot of nodes, then each tag has a lot of nodes, and in the end you start not being able to effectively find the nodes that you require. And the trick is that Luhmman linked the nodes together. I think that's the main point. This is the original node from Luhmman. Each node is connected to as many other nodes as contexts as possible. It combines note-taking while reading, including personal thoughts, a tagging system, and links between nodes. And that's the key point. That's where the method draws from conventional methods. And it is impressive that at the time he lived, that there weren't these digital facilities that we have today, or World Wide Web, and that he himself was able to implement this on a pen and paper based system is really impressive. That's why I say that it really was a bright academic. Just for so part of this method is being studied at university. There is a project going on that involves the digitalization of all these nodes and is available online. That's one of his nodes. And this note is specifically addressing the method itself. So it's a note about the Zettelkasten method as a cybernetic system. This is a translation of his note on the right. And he said the combination of disorder and order of lump information and unpredictable combination realized in ad hoc access. And some other information. And then you see here that he has this note, which is he numbered it as 9/8. In fact, this is part of, let's say, a set of nodes that he called ad hoc nodes, and which were numbered 9. And then under this section, he included some other nodes, and 9/8 is this node box. And then you can see here on the bottom that he added additional nodes to these original nodes, 9/8A and then B and so on, and also some branches for additional nodes related to the first node. And if you see here on the, let's see if I can point. Oh yeah, I have it here. So you see here this, you see here this red number 1. So this number is a link to this node, 98,1, this node. So he was linking the nodes together. Here we see another node, which is this one here, 9/881, which is a branch of this 98A node. And you see that it has this number here on the left that identifies the node. And this number actually links the different nodes. It really is a link, what I would say, a backlink to the previous node. Okay, so here you have the information of the links to the previous nodes. So it's not just linking the nodes or forward links, as we all know in the hypertext using HTML, but backlinks, and I think that's the point, the important point here on this method.
Sorry, Henrik.
Yeah,
we are 12:39 now. Do you think you can take at most 5 or 10 minutes? Because we need to finish at 1 at least. Okay,
I think we should be able to finish that.
Thank you.
And so the Zettelkasten method is a note-taking system for your lifetime, not just for a specific task. The method scales up very well. Actually, the more you add nodes, it becomes better, and that's the reason why Luhmman said it was his second brain. It keeps track of your ideas over time, and it grows as you learn, and that's the and then by providing links to the different nodes, it may provide you some answers in surprising ways, because probably over time you forget the nodes that you have taken, and then by linking those nodes, you can refer back to those nodes very easily, which can provide you some answers. So I've taken this information from this article, which are the main Zettelkasten principles. So one of the first one is atomicity. Each node should contain one idea and one idea only, which makes possible to link ideas. Each node should be autonomous, self-contained. You should always link your nodes, bidirectional linking, forward and back links. And you should explain why you're linking the nodes. And also, it's important that the nodes is just not copy and paste of information you found. You should use your own words, but because then you are reinforced learning and establishing those the wide brain and keep the information for a longer time. Always add references to your node, add your thoughts, and mainly don't worry about the structure. And that's the important point. It's not the structure, but the links that are important, add connections, add outline nodes, should never delete a node, and add nodes without fear. And so at the end, the method it's quite simple. And so if we were to implement this on a paper-based, you just had, like Luhmman did, you could take some cards or slip of papers and just type some notes on each one. And then you can new cards in between and add more cards if necessary in between those, like he did, but then create links between the nodes. And that's the key point of the method. And also add tags to those nodes. And create a node with a list of tags, so you keep track of those nodes. I will try to show you some of the digital solutions available these days. There are some apps available. ROM Research is one of them. Is a paid service which is available via web. Obsidian is an application that runs on several platforms, which is free. Archive is also is not free, but it's quite cheap, developed by some German scholars, and also can use Markdown and wiki style links. And that's a simple approach using Markdown and just text files. You can use, for example, the file name could be given by a timestamp followed by a title. The timestamp is not enforced, but you can use it or not. You see here the title of the node, some tags, the node itself, and then some links to other nodes. Okay. And if, for example, you take this text file and using one writer for iPad, if you open the node with this app, that's what we would see. And the links, if you click the links, it will open the other nodes. And so we have a system of very easily navigating through your nodes. And that's possibly the most simple implementation of the method. Obsidian is a dedicated application for not only to implement the Zettelkasten method, but it's a powerful knowledge-based tool. It's also based on plain text. That's the main advantage, and based on Markdown files. Here we see these are your nodes. You can have links to external links, for example, to some documentations in the internet, or you can have links to your nodes as well. If you look back here on the right, it will show you in this node what are the backlinks to the previous nodes. So you have easily access to those nodes. And here on the left, you have your the tags that you have. And for example, if you type this symbol cardinal, it will open a new window with all the tags that the existence tags, so you can add a new one or simply use the previous one. So it's very easy to navigate. And also here on this pane on the left, on the right, you have like a web plot of the links between the different nodes. I don't think this is very important to navigate among the nodes, but it will give you a very simple overview of the structure of the nodes, and from this you can assess if you have if the links between the nodes if have a lot of links or less links, and probably it will give you a clue whether you are implementing the method effectively or not. It uses searchable tags, bidirectional links between the nodes, external links to files and web pages, figures, and also equations are very easily to implement using LaTeX notation style writing. So the Zettelkasten method has been applied successfully. That's what I show you now in the social and humanities area, and the proof of that is the success of Niklas Luhmman. But does it apply engineering and apply sciences domain as well? I think the answer is obviously yes. Reading, taking notes, and creativity process of writing and generation of new ideas are important skills, no matter the domain you work on. In my PhD, I used my previous experience. I used pen and paper with index cards to keep tracks of papers that I read, including some notes. I did not use any linking whatsoever between the notes, but I kept a logbook with all my notes, mathematical derivation, and daily notes with my thoughts. I noted my thoughts about the paper and that I read, and I wrote some thoughts about it, thoughts about where I was, what I wanted to do next, and questions about things that needed further clarification, which I think helped a lot in having I think it's like Luhmman said, you start having a dialogue between your notes and yourself that help you to clarify things in your mind. I also went further to take some notes from my logbook. Here are two papers that I read at the time. I mentioned here at this point a summary of the paper. Then I did some derivations, and I placed here some comments about the results I achieved. For example, I said that the first order approximation of this method, of this approach, does not make any sense. And then I said the question now arises, why assume a solution like this? And then I realized that probably the solution that I was trying to use was not an adequate one. And then I noted here that this expression includes needed to extend the validity of this analysis, and then I'll start it with a different approach. And then after doing some additional work, I got to conclusion that the correction that I introduced yielded a better approximation for the results I was looking for. But then the method is not scalable because I was using just one frequency, just one signal. If I wanted to extend this analysis to several signals, then the calculations become impossible. And so after reading a lot of information and note-taking, that I realized that probably there's one possibility to use a different approach, which indeed turned out to be one of the main achievements in my PhD. And I think this dialogue helped me a lot during my PhD. And so I will end up saying that the process of note-taking is of utmost importance, no matter the domain. If not the Zettelkasten method, I mean, you should at least have one logbook and just take a lot of notes. If you're doing the PhD, which usually takes 3 to 4 years, I mean, if you don't take notes, things will be forgotten and writing will be much harder. In the process of writing does not start with a blank page, but with a lot of reading and note-taking. And I think that with the smart note process, writing becomes much easier. And I really hope that I knew the Zettelkasten method when I was doing my PhD, which could, and using this method, you can unleash your second brain, I believe. With respect to the method, and if you are curious and want to know how to implement it yourself, I think the main point here is that you should adapt the method to your needs and the way of working and the way it fits best to you. And obviously it needs some practice to get used to the method itself. I will end up saying that no matter your domain, part of the work is telling a story. So take your notes and be able to tell a story. And I think that's crucial to any type of work. And so these are some references that I use, that I leave here for if you need to know a bit more about it.
Thank you, Henrik. I think you concluded, right?
Yes.
Thank you. So I would ask for any questions in 5 minutes that we could use this space to. Any questions that you might have now to Henrik?
May I say something?
Please go ahead.
Okay, let me just thank Henrik for this fantastic discussion.